You don't have your camera on. Hi, everybody. Now you got two no people. What's up, everyone? Hopefully you can see us again. I see green lights, so that looks good. This is Reef over there. This is Andy right here. And maybe this will hold and maybe it won't after a reboot. And we're going to record this and we're going to try this one more time, folks, because it's getting late and I'm getting really pissed off and I want to get through these stories. And I don't know if this is YouTube, if this is Optimum, if this is just the universe screwing with me, telling me that we should not do this, but we're going to do this. So I got this guy over here and we're going to get through it. Mastermind, thank you. I appreciate you being there. And I don't know who else is going to stick with us and I'm getting it, but anyway, let's get it going. So I got we got two more stories to get through, so we got a lot to do. So let's do this. Hey, look at that. That looks a little different. And shit, that doesn't look right. Cut off. That should be fixed. There we go. UAW. Our friends at UAW leadership. So take it or leave it. This is what's been going on. You know what's been going on since September 14th. It's now a solid month that the UAW is on strike, quote unquote. We're going to go through a couple of World Socialist website articles. Now, it worries me, I have to say, that the only publication that seems to be behind this at all, behind the workers and pushing this effort to hold the company accountable, really is World Socialist website. I give them a lot of credit in this case. And I'm wondering why there aren't other publications that have gotten on board with the rank and file messaging to say, hey, give these guys what they're asking for. So first off, take it or leave it. Jerry White, just a couple days ago, right? He's talking about Ford Motor Company executives told reporters Thursday the company will not increase its total monetary offer to the United Auto Workers, making it clear that the corporation has no intention of meeting the demands of 57,000 Ford workers for major improvements in pay and the return of years of UAW givebacks. What a surprise, right? So we've reached our limit. That's what Ford Blue president says, right? So according to Report Automotive News, we've actually stretched ourselves to get to this point. Going further will hurt our ability to invest in a business like we need to invest. All right. So they break it down a little bit. The industry public Automotive News reported that it includes an insulting 23% raise over 4 years, cost of living adjustments, and a $21 starting poverty wage for temporary workers. New hires would reach top wages in 3 years instead of 8, which is good. And they're saying that they're open to moving some money around within the deal that might be fitting the union's needs better. But that doesn't really say very much or do very much to help a lot of people. But broadly speaking, from an overall cost of the deal perspective, yes, we're there. Ford guy saying they're there. By the way, he made an $8 million salary last year, essentially reiterated the position of CEO Jim Farley, who makes $21 million a year, and he rejected out of hand workers' demands.
The money is there.
We just have to use it. So they talk about Sean Fain, who is the UAW president, already abandoned workers' core demands, which was for a 40% pay raise, right? The restoration of real cost of living protections adjusted to inflation, the reduction of the work week, the abolition of tiers, the reinstatement of company paid pensions, and the rollover of temporary workers. No more tiers. No more tiers.
Like that shampoo?
No, I was actually thinking of Ozzy Osbourne. But yes, the Johnson baby shampoo works too. So UAW apparatus.
Much more metal, the baby shampoo.
Is it? Well, unfortunately, yes. Well, at least the baby powder was. The UAW apparatus.
I see Ozzy using that.
UAW is focused on extending its franchise. Okay, this is where UAW's focus is on extending into the new EV battery plants. So, and this is Jerry's opinion, is so that it can collect dues money from workers who will be paid substandard wages and benefits. I think that's a little bit more cynical. I think they want to expand their membership, and they want to make sure that the auto workers and the people that are working in the industry are UAW members and not right to workers or members of another union. I think that's fair, right? I don't think it really goes beyond that. You know, have substandard wages? Nah, I don't buy that. I just don't. But while ensuring the financial interest of the bureaucracy, of course, Fain has already promised the automakers that the UAW will agree to the destruction of tens of thousands of jobs in internal combustion plants. I don't know that I heard that either, but that's an interesting take. But it's not clear whether Ford is willing to go the same route as GM. Company is currently building EV plants in largely non-union Tennessee and Kentucky, and has halted production of a plant in Michigan, which is the center of the UAW. But according to the douchebags at the Washington Post, Galhotra and other Ford executives on the call stress that the company is looking to reach a deal and continuing to look for creative solutions to meet the union's needs on retirement security and the future of the company's battery plants for electric vehicles. Can you give me a double CK, please, for that? Because I think we need one. Yeah, that's a big double CK right there. Ford Motor Company made $1.9 billion in second quarter profits and expects to forecast $11 to $12 billion this year for full year, up from an earlier forecast of 9 to 11. So they've raised their guidance. Company's going to release Q3 results later in about 11 days. According to Wall Street analyst Trevis, we expect Ford's revenues for the quarter to come in about $40.28 billion, marking an 11% increase versus last year and marginally ahead of consensus estimates. So the last 2 weeks of being on strike had no impact on the company's earnings, is what's happening here. And we've had people that came into our chat, and I do want to address that at some point, but people that are saying we don't know what we're talking about, people who work in the plants that are saying they're represented for the first time, and I
you
hear
don't know
you.
what you're talking about.
No, look, people who work at Ford, I certainly respect their opinions, or people who are UAW workers, if they really are. I think that what they're looking at is a much more one-to-one case, looking at it than as a broader union than getting gains overall. I don't think that this snap strike and that these wildcat style strikes are working. They are certainly preserving the strike fund, which is, I guess, a good thing. But if you voted to go on strike and you're not on strike and you're continuing to work under the old contract, now you're still making a salary. You're still earning money. There are definitely benefits to that. The company doesn't know who's going to show up when, but you have no protections right now because you have no contract. They can fire you at any minute with no repercussions. But
yeah,
while UAW is currently on strike against the Detroit automakers, including Ford, this is unlikely to impact the company's Q3 earnings in a material manner. And this is, look, you need to, if you want to actually extract gains, you need to extract pain. And I mean, no pain, no gain. They say it at the gym, and it's the same in negotiation, unfortunately, with a big automaker. You need to extract pain. They're trying not to inflict any pain, but yet get what they want and play nice and patty cake. It's been a month, guys. It's been a month.
A whole month.
Facing growing opposition to his ineffective stand-up strike policy, Shawn Fain called a strike at the Kentucky truck plant in Louisville Wednesday night. But even with 8,700 workers at Kentucky Truck, only 34,000 total out of 146,000, or less than a quarter, of Big Three workers are currently on strike. Factories that produce the automaker's most profitable pickup trucks, and virtually every factory in the Detroit area, the center of auto production, and the UAW headquarters continue to operate.
Yep.
Fain called the strike
Making
an effort.
money for Pygmy and
Fain called the strike in an effort to get ahead of the growing demands by rank-and-file workers for an all-out strike by GM, Ford, and Stellantis workers. He's scheduled to give a Facebook Live event Friday morning, and we're going to cover what happened during that event, which was no new strikes announced, right? And then also whether he announces any more strikes or not. His aim is to prepare the groundwork to announce a sellout agreement. Of course, World Socialist website has never met an agreement that they did not call a sellout agreement, in all fairness, right? Which will be then presented as a historic victory by the bureaucracy and its supporters, including the Biden White House. That, I think, is 100% accurate. Unfortunately.
yeah.
Right? And then he's referring to the snap strike in Kentucky. Colin Langan, who's an analyst at Wells Fargo, told Automotive News, UAW leadership likely needs to strike Ford's most profitable plant to show the rank and file that they're extracting the most from the automaker. Consequently, we think this escalation is a sign that UAW could be close to a contract proposal with Ford the next 1 to 2 weeks. Well, Ford was supposed to deliver an agreement last week and didn't, and then Fain hit them with a strike on Friday. Now, this Friday, he didn't strike any new plants. Has GM come to the table? Not to my knowledge. He had something going with Stellantis, but I have not heard of any agreement being signed with Stellantis. Now, if they had gone fully out on strike, people would be panicking right now in the union to make a deal. I'll tell you right now, and I know that they're talking about that full strike is the only way to go. They only had 12 weeks to strike, and the OEM, the manufacturers, just would have waited them out. They were going to wait them out. They were prepared to wait them out. Whatever pain they had to get out of that, they were ready to drain the UAW strike fund and make them accept whatever deal at the end that they wanted. And that's why Fain is dancing right now. The efforts by Fain to suppress rank-and-file opposition and impose the dictates of the corporations was dealt a powerful blow last weekend when Mack truck workers rejected a deal that the UAW president falsely promoted as a record contract for the heavy truck industry. We're going to cover Mack trucks in a couple minutes, but I like the way that he talked about this because this deal, why did they walk out? It included sub-inflation raises, no cost of living adjustments, extended work hours, and the maintenance of the hated two-tier wage and benefit system. And it was rejected by 3-1 margin. So nearly 4,000 Mack truck workers walked out on strike Monday morning in Pennsylvania, Maryland, and Florida. You had 3 states walk out. Right?
Yep.
A leading role in opposing the sellout deal was played by Mack Trucks worker Will Lehman, who of course ran for president, socialist candidate for UAW president, on a program of abolishing the UAW bureaucracy and transferring power from the union apparatus to workers on the shop floor. Man, that would have been cool. Workers have formed the Mack Trucks Rank and File Committee, which issued an open letter to Fain demanding the calling of an all-out strike of all Big Three workers to win the demands of all auto and truck manufacturing workers. His feeling is if you shut them down, then they're going to cave and buckle. So a striking Kentucky worker told World Socialist website, this is what I never hear from anyone other than WSWS, are workers that are encouraging continuing to strike and to continuing to push even harder. They put out a statement calling for an all-out strike, right? If they want the same thing that auto workers want. If you want the company to keep treating you the way they do, then don't do anything. If you want it to stop, we have to use our power. And there's only one power that we have. Unfortunately, it's the power of our labor. So Robert describes a mood in the plant before they walked out Wednesday evening. That was weird. Sorry, everyone. A lot of us were frustrated watching the information about profits and CEO pay. We were supposed to all strike on September 15th. What happened? For a month, we've been saying, we're Ford's largest plant. Why aren't we on strike? We're still working and other workers are still on strike, even in Canada. Yeah, that's right, Himbo.
Canada.
That's right, old man Barker. Even up in Canada. Eh. All right. Even with us out, that's not enough. Without us going all on strike, there's no pressure, and the pressure is the only thing that makes a pipe burst. It's the workers who put these people on top of the mountain. The CEOs get raise after raise. These people are in power with their yachts and resorts. Again, going after the executives is nice. It's the earnings and the buybacks that I want to go after, because it adds up to a whole lot more than all the salaries of all the executives combined. There is a growing rebellion of workers fueled by inflation and social equality. Earlier this week, 1,100 General Dynamics workers in Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania also voted by 97% to strike when their contract expires when the major defense contractor on October 22nd. And I hope they stay shut down forever. Shut down General Dynamics. More than 1,100 workers at Blue Cross Blue Shield have also been on strike for more than a month in Michigan, and Detroit casino workers cast a near unanimous vote to strike. So they're saying that the efforts by the UAW to sabotage these struggles can only be defeated by expanding the Auto Workers Rank and File Committee's network. Yeah. That's always what World Socialist website wants to do. Yep. But he's now going down to Mack trucks, according to Friday's notification, Friday's Facebook call. All right. The stand-up strikes have left the company's most profitable plants running, churning out enormous profits for management, while other workers struggle on $500 weekly strike pay. $100 a day. There you go. Feed your family. What?
Yep.
Why can't they increase
the low
that?
price? No, man.
And he's not going to talk to auto workers. He's going to talk to Mack trucks workers. Right, because they rejected.
Right, and Biden.
Yep. All right, even with the strike at Kentucky, more than 3/4 of the UAW members have been ordered to remain on the job. This is a lot of the same thing, right? You have this guy said, after what he did at Mack Trucks, how can I believe a word he said? When he endorsed the contract, supposedly a record contract, and they resoundingly voted it down, why did he endorse it and call it a record contract? Fair. The live stream again was delayed by 30 minutes, which the UAW has repeatedly attributed to last-minute offers from management. This is something we talked about on Friday night, Reef, when I read this article. I'm like, oh, so what's happening here is management knows that Fain is about to address the entire UAW membership. So they decide to slide in a last-minute offer that now has to be reviewed before they can even go live and say anything. And it can't possibly really be reviewed in thorough until then. So they're basically guessing and hoping that it's right. And then whatever he agreed to or whatever was in, like, it, wow. He paid lip service to respecting the will of the membership at Mack, who decisively voted down the miserable 19% wage raise over 5 years that he recommended. Historic 19% over 5 years. How much has inflation gone up in the last 2 years? At the same time, he hypocritically defended the pro-company agreement he had backed, claiming that the contract they were offered had bigger general wage increases than anything at Mack in recent history, or recent memory. Well, that isn't saying much, but the UAW's phony stand-up strikes have been designed to minimize the impact on corporate profits while exerting maximum financial pressure on workers. I don't think Fain would present it that way, but I do like the WSWS's. Particularly affected have been temporary part-time workers who've seen drastic cuts in hours while being denied the right to apply for unemployment assistance. Here, a temporary part-time supplemental worker and member of the Warren Truck and Rank and File Committee said that right now they're laying people off and not giving the temporaries any work hours. All right, if they think that if we're desperate, we'll be more willing to take whatever deal they throw at us. Fain is siding with them. That's not how it's going to work. We have to all strike and hit them where it hurts. Bain has already shown that he's not for us, he's for the companies. Who makes these decisions go little by little, and to pick a plant here or there, he's calling out some plants, but they're still producing pickup trucks and making a lot of money. This is not really affecting the big three's profits. I read the open letter to Fain, or at least Olivia did, from the Mack truck workers. I agree with it, and this person did. They're proud of them for standing up for themselves, and it shows everyone else that we can do it too. Against him, who had recommended this deal. He's not looking out for their best interests. He's looking out for the best interests of the UAW, which don't necessarily align with the specific 4,000 workers at Mack Trucks, even though he would say that they do. He also sought to adopt a pose of internationalism, just like a Democrat. See this? Wearing a red hoodie, provided by, who was this? The Italian guys. Here, we want an all-out strike.
Gucci. Maserati.
Right, so it's not good. We don't have UAW leadership. We're now into the fourth week. They've now taken out one truck plant. For how long, I don't know. Is that indefinite or is that temporary? Remains to be seen.
Or is it compare it?
Right. Workers confront an entire economic and social order, capitalism, that no longer serves even the most elementary needs of the vast majority in society. The current irrational social order must be replaced by a society based on the production for human needs, not private profit. That is, of course, the Trotskyite socialist society in utopia that they dream is going to be America someday. And Rumble just exploded, by the way, because of that. Damn socialists! You're not taking over this country! Oh, I love you, Rumble.
The
You're
socialists, awesome. They took our jobs.
Urban Dirge! Urban Dirge! All right.
Those damn commies, god dang it. Bobby, I said no more.
Yeah, okay. So, hi, everybody. We got a nice crowd now. Yeah, we had some technical difficulties, so we're a little late on the stories. We are going to be getting to boats smashing into other boats. But we gotta talk about the big elephant in the room. Unfortunately.
Yep.
All right, so crab. Spelling, bro. Spelling.
Spelling? Israel?
Yes. Israel's?
Israel.
Israel's 9/11?
Israel's?
Bro.
Israel. No, dude, Israel is the new hot DJ, bro.
Israel's?
DJ Israel.
DJ Israel. It is real. Or is it more like Gaza's 9/11? Yeah, thanks, Greg. I've been seeing that all week, by the way. So
have you didn't tell him?
Oh, I certainly have.
That's your fault then.
Oh, no, I have. And still we found that. So love you, bro. All right. Here's what's going on. We talk a lot about narrative management on this program. It's kind of the reason why we do what we do, is to point out the bullshit that's happening in corporate media. And that's happening in quote unquote independent media. This has been a fucking awful week. And there have been a few heroic people. Alan McLeod has been delivering some amazing, incredible footage, and it's heartbreaking. And, you know, that people are doing this to get the story out, even though it could be lifelong haunting, to say the least. So Alan put together here how mainstream media was pushing out fake Palestine stories, and here's some of the examples of Western media publicizing the evidence-free claim, of course, the 40 babies, the beheaded babies that, of course, only to be walked back later, but of course, not before the Prime Minister of Israel,
Joe Biden, saw them.
and the President of the United States
Has to
both
be true.
lied to everybody's faces and said that they saw it. No, they didn't. All right. Media also claimed that the Israeli festival attendee Shani Lok was murdered, stripped, and naked and paraded through Gaza. Also, blatant lie, she's alive and she's in the hospital.
I mean, that's like, what is it, Game of Thrones?
Propaganda. This is literally
For
propaganda
real?
warfare.
Damn, it must be true.
Media have also been using the passive voice to describe victims of Israeli aggression. Of course, yes, you've been seeing a lot of this. Killed in Israel, but they only died in Gaza. Israelis have been murdered, but Palestinians have fallen. It's very weak, and it's telling people subtly who they should be rooting for, and it's just wrong. Of course, Ben Shapiro got busted pretty bad. Okay.
Mhm.
He
For
said
making his wife's pussy as dry as possible. I'm sorry, P word.
he said that was a picture of a burned Israeli child. Because he had to invent one. They couldn't find one anywhere, even though they were saying it. So he had to
careful,
find
this is-
one, and literally
They tried to make Nico close his take
Twitter.
down his Twitter stuff like 4 or 5 times for posting that picture that is fake.
Yep.
That both like Ben and I think someone else posted, and he's posting it, and they're like, no, you can't put that up.
And actually,
It's like
what
they still
belongs
have it
there
up.
is the picture is a picture of a puppy. It's an actual picture of a puppy. In that, not that AI
Puppy.
generated charred whatever thing that's there. But as Alan
Right?
points
Yeah,
out,
they used like selective infill.
but as Alan
Like,
correctly points out, is that countless Western journalists who attempt to hold Israel accountable for its crimes have been fired, especially Jewish ones. This sets a chilling example for others who understand that calling for a free Palestine is a red line. They won't even let you back on the air. And it's Jewish and non-Jewish. It does not matter. If you are calling for Palestine to be
he
free,
doesn't
for
look Jewish.
apartheid to be ended, and holding the Israeli state accountable, you will not be allowed on corporate media and kicked off of it. Here's Israeli artillery killing Reuters cameraman Issam Abdullah. And yet
That they still won't say who did it.
he died in Lebanon is literally all they keep saying. We are deeply saddened to learn that he's been killed. He was part of a Reuters crew in southern Lebanon. We're seeking more information. We know who did it. All right.
Who did it, Reuters? Who did it?
And also,
BBC
Thayer
won't answer it
al-Sudani and Maher Nazeh also sustained injuries and are seeking medical care. And we listened to audio of that, and literally one of them says, I can't feel my legs.
They fell over.
I can't feel my legs.
Oh, God.
All of this is designed to manufacture public consent for Israeli war crimes against Palestine and beyond. All right. I'm going to show Greg's video now. Greg did an awesome video talking about how, here we go again, news pundits repeating the phrase again, failure of imagination, echoing the same exact terminology from the 9/11 Commission report. Yep. Listen to this. This is
9/11.
2 minutes and 16 seconds of, oh my God. Watch this.
When you really look at it, are in fact failures of imagination.
I think it's basically
a failure of imagination. We never believed that Hamas had the capability to do this, and so we misinterpreted the signs.
There are so many painful questions facing Israel right now about what everyone accepts is a massive failure, be it a intelligence failure, a military failure, be it really, Nicole, a failure of imagination.
Yeah. It was dismissed as unlikely to happen. I think there were breakdowns on multiple fronts where our failure of imagination.
I think Hamas got smarter in terms of preempting cyber and satellite monitoring by the Israelis. But I think the broader problem is a failure of imagination.
Settler movement was too focused on the West Bank, militants in the West Bank, and that it was a concentration of resources on the wrong part of the country and a failure of imagination, that a certain arrogance that they just didn't think Hamas would be able to do something like this.
Talk to me about the intelligence breakdown and what Israel is saying about their inability to see this coming.
Yeah, Katie, that's right. Not just a breakdown, but a total massive catastrophic failure is how it's being seen in Western capitals. I spoke with John Brennan yesterday, and he talked about not only just kind of a failure of intelligence, but also a failure of imagination. And it's something our colleague Raf Sanchez has been talking about as well in the last 24 hours. They couldn't even conceive that this could happen. But
I think, frankly, Wolf, it was a failure. I know it seems sort of cliche, but a failure of imagination. That's similar, it seems to me, what happened in October
imagination.
73.
MSNBC national security and intelligence analyst and a former CIA officer. Mark, you were the first early Saturday to say that the Hamas attack is Israel's 9/11 because of the surprise factor.
9/11, there you go. There comes the talking point.
And that it was a failure of imagination. They had never thought.
He might as well
apparently
become
Hamas could come in
RFK's campaign manager.
do a ground invasion as well as from the air. And the
No,
sea.
Shmuley's taking that.
Intelligence that came
Oh, his daughter. I'm sorry. The CIA.
His daughter's taking
the
that.
failure of imagination, of course, has been something that's bandied about. But
It's pretty clear there was complacency. I mean, this was sort of
Oh, more corporate media. News Nation. God, I hate those people.
Failure of imagination we consider to be one of the major failures of the government. The fact of the matter is we just didn't get
I remember
it
that.
in this country.
Oh, so awesome work, Crab, to assemble that. And this is what we talk about, is corporate narratives. Talking points got disseminated. That was clearly one of them. And it's amazing how there was zero talk on my social media, honestly, sadly. Now, I have basically two different social medias, which is one that I do for my news and one that I have with my family and personal and they are so diametrically opposed in a way I've never seen before in my life. There is no talk of anything other than about Jewish lives and Jewish defend Israel. Oh my God, they attacked. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Nobody. I mean, it's disgraceful how few
Jewish
people.
God.
Okay. It's disgraceful how many people in my world are not where we need to be.
Help me, Jewish God! Help me, Allah!
Yeah, well.
Those are the same people, by the way.
Yes, they